I'm Morgan St. James, an author who was mostly known for writing funny mysteries up until about 6 years ago. Well, actually, even a shorter time ago than that. And I was approached to help co-author a memoir for a very amazing woman, Bella Capo. The name of the book is No More Crying Angels. I've been talking about child abuse, awareness, and prevention this month. And I'm hoping to do a video almost every day sharing my thoughts because without awareness, there is no prevention. I was not prepared for the horrors that Bella had endured as she was growing up. And we shared so much during the writing of that book that it turned me into an advocate for abused children and abused adults. So please bear with me. This is yet another one of my recordings, but it has triggered memories of several years ago. Back in the 1980s, I knew a screenwriter named Gail Lara who was working on a child abuse screenplay that she was pitching to TV production companies like Lorimar. And at that time, it seemed like it wasn't a topic that was heavily promoted, for awareness. We were all still somewhat in the innocent age. Anyway, Gail's screenplay centered around a teacher who was witnessing one of her students being terribly abused, and she tried to get help from the various child protection agencies and so forth, and couldn't get any action. So in the screenplay, this teacher, who is single, decides she's going to take this child and flee to Canada to protect the child. Well, for a while there was interest in the script, but it kind of died on the vine. And that was really the first introduction that I'd had to the reality of child abuse. Gail had a very thick file of research that she'd done. And as I read through the file, I was horrified. But time passed. I didn't do anything about it until I was contacted by Bella Capo. True crime writer Dennis N. Griffin and I helped Bella put her book together. Bella has helped thousands of abuse victims, putting aside her own pain to deal with others. And so I am asking, if you see something that looks like abuse, and I'm not talking about something like a parent giving their child a pat on the rear. I mean, I grew up with that. My parents didn't spank us, but let me tell you, my father's look was more lethal than a spanking if I did something wrong. But what I'm talking about is real abuse. Like when you see a child being beaten and do nothing about it. This happened in the case of another memoir that I helped co-author, Incest, Murder, and a Miracle, where teenager Cheryl Cuccio was beaten by her father right there in the school parking lot. People saw it and nobody did anything. So I ask you, if you see something that is clearly abuse, please do something to try to help that person or that child. Fortunately, there are now hotlines and shelters, and there wasn't a proliferation of them years ago, but there is help, and a person does not have to be defined by what happened to them, but they do have to have help sometimes in building a positive attitude. Thank you for listening. And I hope you will watch some of my other videos through the month.